Ambassador Elena Vasquez focused on the display before her, rereading the communiqué for the third time. Its tone was cordial, yet she sensed an underlying menace. The Galactic Council sought a meeting regarding Earth's off-world settlements, requesting a standard diplomatic transport at Kepler 7th's neutral station. Having served as Earth's envoy to various extraterrestrial civilizations for 5 years, Elena recognized veiled threats. This message felt like a summons to a principal's office, igniting a quiet fury within her. Years of navigating interstellar politics had honed her ability to mask her true emotions. She activated her comm panel. "Connect me with Admiral Torres," she instructed her aide. While she waited, Elena gazed through the viewport of the orbital station. Below Earth shimmered a vibrant blue marble. Somewhere down there, her daughter was likely engrossed in schoolwork. A pang of uncertainty hit her. Would she see her daughter again after this assignment? Admiral Sarah Torres's image appeared on the screen, her gray hair meticulously styled, her uniform impeccably sharp. "Ambassador, I received the same message. Your thoughts?" "It's a snare," Elena stated without hesitation. "They anticipate a single vulnerable vessel, making us easy targets for either destruction or humiliation. The Hegemony Consortium has been orchestrating this." Torres nodded. "Our contacts on New Colorado reported hegemony vessels in the system's vicinity yesterday. They're no longer merely observing." Elena's stomach tightened. New Colorado, humanity's newest settlement, now housed 300,000 souls, families, children, individuals who had sought a fresh start beyond Earth. The hegemony sought to subjugate them, as they had done to other developing species. "What is Earth Command's stance?" Elena inquired. Torres offered a grim smile. "President Chen has authorized an appropriate response. We're deploying Captain Marcus Chen aboard the Retribution." Elena's eyes widened. The Retribution was humanity's covert asset, its existence unknown to most alien civilizations. Earth had invested a decade in its construction after its initial hostile encounters. It was designed to mimic a simple cargo ship, but beneath its unassuming exterior lay immense destructive power. "Is that a wise decision?" Elena questioned. "If its true nature is revealed, they'll understand humanity is not as vulnerable as they perceive." "Elena," Torres replied firmly, "they enslaved our people on Kepler 9, forcing them into brutal labor. The Council remained inert. Now they covet our newest world. This ends here." Elena slowly assented. She had reviewed the reports from Kepler 9. Humans toiling 18-hour shifts in perilous mines. Children separated from parents. Lives lost to exhaustion. The Galactic Council had dismissed it as temporary protective custody during an investigation into human expansion. "That was 2 years ago. When do we depart?" Elena asked. "Tomorrow. Captain Chen is already preparing his crew and will transfer to the Retribution tonight." After Torres's call concluded, Elena sat alone in her office. She accessed Captain Marcus Chen's dossier, 38 years old, born on Mars, orphaned during the first alien assault on humanity's Proxima Centauri mining outpost. He had joined Earth's military the following day and never looked back. Chen was renowned for his composure under duress, and his crew held absolute trust in him. Admiral Torres had personally selected him to command the Retribution upon its completion 3 years prior. Since then, he had immersed himself in the vessel, mastering every system, preparing for this very day. Elena packed her belongings deliberately, cherished family photographs, her favorite mug, and the small Earth flag her daughter had given her. "For good fortune, Mom," her daughter had said. Elena knew she would need all the luck she could get. The next morning, Elena rode a shuttle to the station's military sector. The Retribution rested in the primary hangar, appearing indistinguishable from a civilian cargo vessel. Silver and unadorned, it bore no visible weaponry. Only a discerning eye would detect the reinforced hull or the unusual energy readings. Captain Chen greeted her at the airlock. He was tall and slender, with dark hair and serious brown eyes. His handshake was firm. "Ambassador, welcome aboard. I trust your journey was comfortable." "Thank you, Captain. I confess I'm apprehensive about this meeting." Chen offered a slight smile. "Don't be. We're prepared for any challenge." Elena followed him through the ship. The corridor seemed unremarkable, but she observed the crew members. Their movements were precise, their uniforms pristine. These were Earth's elite soldiers, Disguised as ordinary transport personnel, Chen led her to the bridge, which resembled any civilian control center, though Elena noted concealed panels and additional displays. "We'll reach Kepler 7 in 4 days," Chen stated. "During that time, my crew and I will make ready for every contingency. What if they truly only wish to converse?" Elena inquired. Chen's expression darkened. "Then we shall converse. But if they threaten you or our people, they will witness humanity's true capabilities." Elena glanced at the star chart on the main screen. Kepler 7 was a considerable distance from Earth. If complications arose, aid would not arrive swiftly. Yet observing Captain Chen and his crew, a flicker of hope ignited within her. Humanity had endured too much subjugation. Perhaps it was time to assert themselves. As the Retribution departed Earth's orbit, Elena sent a final message to her daughter. "Be good for Grandma. Mommy has to go to work, but I'll be home soon." She hoped it was true. The ship engaged its faster-than-light drive, and the stars outside the windows blurred into streaks of light. In 4 days, the galaxy would discover that humanity was done with pleasantries. They had anticipated a shuttle carrying fearful diplomats. Instead, they were receiving humanity's response to decades of insults and threats. Captain Chen stood on his bridge, watching the stars rush past. His crew worked silently around him, verifying weapon systems concealed behind false panels. In 4 days, everything would change. The Galactic Council believed they were dealing with primitive humans who would yield to pressure. They were about to learn how profoundly mistaken they were. Captain Marcus Chen monitored the sensor readings as they approached Kepler 7 station. The colossal structure hung in space like a metallic metropolis, its light shimmering against the dark canvas of stars. But Chen's attention was fixed on the nearby vessels indicated by his sensors. "Sir, I'm detecting 12 hegemony warships," reported Lieutenant Commander Sarah Park from the sensor station. "They're attempting to cloak themselves within the station's sensor shadow, but our new scanners are pinpointing them clearly." Chen nodded grimly. "Any others?" "Scanning now, sir. I'm picking up energy signatures from at least 20 more vessels, dispersed throughout the system. They're powered down to minimal levels, but they are definitely present." Elena Vasquez stood beside Chen's command chair, her diplomatic case in hand. She appeared pale but resolute. 32 ships against 1, she murmured. "They truly intend to ensure our cooperation." "Let them believe they hold the advantage," Chen replied. "How's our disguise performing?" Chief Engineer Rodriguez answered from his station. "Holographic projectors are functioning flawlessly, sir. To their sensors, we register as a civilian transport. Hull integrity appears normal. No weapons are visible. Engine output matches civilian specifications." Chen offered a cold smile. The Retribution represented humanity's pinnacle of military engineering. 2 kilometers in length, armed with weaponry capable of fracturing a moon. Yet at this moment it resembled a simple transport vessel, barely 200 meters long. The holographic system was but one of the many surprises his ship carried. "Sir, we're being hailed by the station," announced Communications Officer Williams. "Patch them through." The main screen illuminated, revealing a tall alien with azure skin and 4 forearms. Counselor Zethar was known throughout the galaxy as a figure whose allegiance could be swayed by sufficient incentive. His opulent robes and jewelry attested to the hegemony's generous patronage. "Ah, the humans have arrived," Star stated with feigned cordiality. "Welcome to Kepler 7th Station. Please proceed to docking Bay 94. We are eager to commence our discussions." "Thank you, Counselor," Elena responded smoothly. "We anticipate a swift and peaceful resolution to this matter." Chen terminated the communication. "Bay 94 is isolated from the rest of the station," he informed Elena. "Easily sealed off if they intend to detain you." "I know," Elena acknowledged, "but we must adhere to their script for now." The Retribution moved slowly toward the docking bay, maintaining its deceptive appearance. Chen observed the tactical display as more enemy vessels maneuvered into position. They were now encircling the station, effectively cutting off any escape routes. Or so they imagined. "Sir, should I power up weapons?" inquired Tactical Officer Grant. "Not yet. Let's ascertain how far they intend to push this." Elena gathered her belongings and proceeded toward the airlock. "Remember, Captain, I require at least 30 minutes to gather intelligence about our people. The hegemony has been relocating prisoners from several captured human colonies. I need to ascertain their whereabouts." You'll have your 30 minutes, Chen promised. And if they attempt anything foolish, you'll have considerably more. Elena transferred to the station through a sealed docking tube. Chen watched her depart, then turned to his crew. All right, everyone. The ambassador is now on her own. Let's ensure she has the necessary support when she requires it. The bridge became a hub of activity as the crew prepared for imminent engagement. Weapon systems silently came online behind false panels. Shield generators powered up gradually, avoiding detection. The ship's massive engine stood ready to deliver full thrust at a moment's notice. On the station, Elena was escorted through pristine corridors to a conference room. The chamber was grand and imposing, featuring a curved table and seating for dozens of delegates, yet only 3 aliens awaited her. Counselor Zithar, Admiral Korvac of the Hegemony, and a slender alien she did not recognize. Ambassador Vasquez, Star began as she took her seat. We have convened this meeting to address humanity's continued expansion into contested territories. Elena maintained a calm voice. I was unaware that any of our settlements were in disputed space. We filed all appropriate claims with the Galactic Council. Admiral Korvac leaned forward. He was a colossal alien with thick armored plating instead of skin and eyes like black holes. Your claims are invalid. The territories you occupy belong to the hegemony by right of discovery. Discovery rights are forfeited if no colonial vessel is dispatched within 50 years, Elena countered. Galactic law is quite explicit on this. The slender alien spoke for the first time. Laws evolve, human. The Council has voted to extend discovery rights to 200 years. Your colonies are now illicit. Elena's heart sank. It was a prearranged deception. They had altered the laws solely to seize humanity's worlds. When was this vote taken? Elena asked. Yesterday, Star said with a malicious grin. The decision is final. Your people have 30 days to evacuate all colonies, or they will be placed under hegemony protection. Elena understood the implications of hegemony protection. Slavery, pure and simple. Humans would labor in alien mines and factories until their demise. Children would be separated from their parents and raised as workers. It was a fate that had befallen 6 other nascent species over the past 5 decades. And if we refuse? She inquired. Admiral Korvac's smile revealed too many teeth. Then we will remove your people by force. Beginning with the vessel that brought you here. Elena activated her communication device. Captain Chen, are you receiving this? Chen's voice came through clearly. Every word, Ambassador. I believe we've heard sufficient. Korvac guffawed, a sound like grinding metal. Your meager transport ship cannot shield you, human. We have over 30 warships in the system. Surrender now and we will permit you to exist as a thrall rather than perish as a free being. Elena slowly rose. Admiral, you appear to be under the misapprehension that we arrived here in a simple transport ship. Of course you did. Our sensors indicate a civilian vessel, lightly armed, posing no threat to anyone. Elena smiled for the first time since her arrival at the station. Captain Chen, I believe it's time to show them what humanity truly thinks of their demands. Back on the Retribution, Chen issued the command he had awaited for years. Drop all disguises. Bring us to full combat readiness, and someone please remind our guests that humanity does not negotiate with enslavers. The holographic projectors deactivated, the false hull plating retracted. Weapon ports opened along the ship's massive length. In moments, the innocuous transport transformed into its true form, humanity's most potent warship. The reaction on the station was instantaneous. Alarms blared. Korvac's face paled as his own sensors conveyed the impossible truth. Where a small transport had been, now floated a ship larger than his entire fleet combined. Chen opened communications to the entire system. His voice was calm, yet every alien who heard it felt a chill of dread. This is Captain Marcus Chen of the United Earth ship Retribution. You anticipated a shuttle. Instead, you encountered humanity's answer to galactic coercion. I suggest you reconsider your stance. The silence that followed Captain Chen's declaration lasted precisely 3 seconds. Then pandemonium erupted across the Kepler-7 system. Admiral Korvac stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The readings had to be erroneous. No ship could be so immense, so heavily armed. His sensors depicted a vessel bristling with unfamiliar weaponry, protected by shields more formidable than anything in the hegemony fleet. Impossible, he whispered. Humans do not possess such technology. On the station, Elena observed the Admiral's face shift from arrogant confidence to mounting fear. She had never witnessed anything more gratifying. "Admiral, would you care to reconsider your demands?" Korvac's black eyes narrowed. He activated his communicator. "All ships, this is Admiral Korvac. Engage the human vessel immediately. Destroy it before it can escape." Elena shook her head sadly. "You truly should have made a different choice." The initial assault originated from behind the station. 12 hegemony fighters swept around the massive structure, their weapons charging for attack runs. Chen watched their approach on his tactical display, feeling a hint of pity for the pilots. "Sir, enemy fighters incoming," reported Tactical Officer Grant. "Shall I target them with the main guns?" "That would be akin to using a sledgehammer to dispatch flies," Chen replied. "Deploy defensive drones instead. Let's demonstrate human point defense." Hundreds of small drones launched from concealed bays along the Retribution's hull. Each was no larger than a basketball, yet they moved with superhuman speed and precision. The hegemony pilots had never witnessed anything comparable. The first alien fighter discharged its plasma cannons at the approaching drones. The energy beams harmlessly pierced empty space as the drones evaded the attacks with impossible agility. Then the drones retaliated. Streams of particle beams lanced forth from the tiny machines. The beams, thin as pencils, sliced through the alien fighter shields as if they were non-existent. The pilot had just enough time to comprehend his ship's demise before it erupted in a fireball. 11 more fighters were destroyed in the next 30 seconds. The drones moved like a swarm of enraged insects appearing from nowhere, striking with lethal accuracy, then vanishing again. Not one of them was lost. "Sir, all enemy fighters eliminated," Grant reported. "No damage to our drones," Chen nodded. "Recall the drones. Let's see what they send next." Admiral Korvac watched his fighter screen disappear from the tactical display. 12 of his finest pilots gone in half a minute. The human ship hadn't even utilized its primary weaponry yet. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked his communications officer. Korvac straightened his uniform. He had not attained admiral rank by shying away from confrontation. "Signal the heavy cruisers. Full attack formation. If we cannot outmatch them, we will overwhelm them with sheer numbers." 5 massive hegemony cruisers emerged from their hiding places behind asteroids. Each vessel was 800 meters long and equipped with the most formidable weapons the hegemony could construct. Their combined firepower could raise a city. Chen observed their approach with professional interest. "Grant, target the lead cruiser. Let's see how their shields withstand our railguns." The Retribution's main railgun was a weapon that transformed physics into artillery. It accelerated projectiles to a significant fraction of light speed, using magnetic fields more powerful than those found within stars. When the tungsten slug impacted the cruiser's shields, the results were spectacular. The alien ship's defensive barriers flared brilliant blue, then purple, then white-hot, before collapsing entirely. The projectile pierced the cruiser's armor as if it were paper. Secondary explosions illuminated the ship's hull as internal systems overloaded. "Direct hit, sir. Enemy cruiser severely damaged." "One shot," Chen said quietly. Their most powerful ship crippled with one shot. The damaged cruiser attempted to retreat, leaking atmosphere and debris. The other 4 cruisers pressed their attack, firing massive plasma bolts at the Retribution. The human ship's shields absorbed the incoming fire without even flickering. "Sir, enemy weapons are having no effect on our shields," Engineer Rodriguez reported. "Their plasma cannons are actually charging our capacitors. We're gaining power from their attacks," Chen offered a grim smile. Human shield technology was based on a simple principle: convert enemy attacks into usable energy. The harder they struck, the stronger the Retribution became. "Return fire, all forward batteries." The Retribution's response was devastating. 6 railgun slugs and a dozen antimatter torpedoes streaked toward the enemy cruisers. The aliens attempted to evade, but their ships were too slow and too large. 3 cruisers exploded instantly when the antimatter warheads found their targets. The 4th lost its entire forward section to a railgun strike. In less than 5 minutes, Admiral Korvac had lost most of his fleet. The survivors were retreating as fast as their engines could carry them. On the station, Counselor Thar stared at the tactical display in horror. "How is this possible? Humans are a young species. They shouldn't possess weaponry like this." Elena rose from her chair. "Counselor, humanity has engaged in warfare since before we harnessed fire. When we ventured to the stars, we brought that experience with us. You erred in believing us weak. Admiral Korvac was shouting orders at his remaining ships, attempting to organize a retreat. His flagship was one of the few vessels still capable of fighting, but he had no desire to test it against the human Leviathan. All ships withdraw to jump distance. We'll regroup and call for reinforcements. Chen's voice came over the communication system again. Admiral, you're not going anywhere. You came here to threaten human colonies and enslave our people. Now you're going to answer for those transgressions. More ships appeared on the tactical display. The concealed hegemony vessels were powering up, abandoning their hiding places to aid their admiral's escape. 23 warships against one human dreadnought. The odds should have been insurmountable, but Chen had anticipated this moment. All stations, this is the captain. We are now engaged with multiple enemy vessels. Show them what occurs when someone threatens human families. The retribution turned toward the fleeing ships like a predator that had caught the scent of prey. Its massive engines flared to life, propelling the dreadnought forward at speeds that sent panic through the alien crews. Sir, multiple enemy ships are attempting to jump to hyperspace, Grant reported. Jam their hyperspace drives. Nobody leaves until we're finished here. The Retribution's electronic warfare suite was as advanced as its weaponry. Invisible energy fields extended across space, disrupting the delicate systems that enabled faster-than-light travel. The alien ships found themselves trapped in normal space with an enraged human dreadnought bearing down on them. Elena observed the battle from the station's observation deck. Explosions illuminated the darkness as human weapons found their targets. The Retribution moved through the enemy fleet like a shark among minnows, too swift to capture, too powerful to stop. She reopened her communicator. Captain Chen, I'm receiving the intelligence we need. The hegemony has our people from 3 colonies imprisoned on their mining world in the Zerion system. Understood, Ambassador. We'll address that after we conclude here. Elena looked at Counselor Starr, who stood beside her, mouth agape in shock. Counselor, I believe humanity wishes to renegotiate our standing in the Galactic Council. Starr could only weakly nod as another hegemony ship exploded in the distance. The battle was nearly over, but Elena knew this was merely the prelude. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy as a power to be respected. The era of being bullied by alien forces was ending, and the galaxy was about to learn that humans protected their own. The remaining hegemony ships spread out in a broad formation, attempting to use their numerical advantage to encircle the solitary human vessel. Admiral Korvac had regrouped his forces, 18 heavy cruisers, 12 destroyers, and his massive flagship. Against any other foe, it would have been an overwhelming display of might. Captain Chen surveyed the tactical display with serene eyes. His crew worked around him with quiet efficiency, checking systems and preparing for the next phase of the engagement. The initial skirmish had demonstrated to the aliens the superiority of human technology. Now they would learn that human tactics were even more perilous. Sir, enemy ships are maneuvering to encircle us, reported Lieutenant Commander Park. They're attempting to trap us in a crossfire. Allow them, Chen replied. Grant, prepare the stealth drones. I want them positioned behind the enemy formation before they comprehend what's happening. Dozens of larger drones launched silently from the Retribution's aft bays. Unlike the defensive swarm units, these were the size of small shuttles and completely undetectable by alien sensors. They moved slowly through space using minimal power to avoid detection. Admiral Korvac watched his fleet close the trap. The human ship was potent, but it was still just one vessel. His tactical computers indicated optimal firing positions would be reached in 3 minutes. All ships maintain formation. When we reach firing range, concentrate all weapons on their shield generators. We will overwhelm their defenses through sheer volume of fire. It was standard hegemony doctrine. Employ superior numbers to crush any resistance. It had succeeded against every other species they had conquered. The Admiral was confident it would work against humans too. On the station, Elena observed the alien ships move into position. She could discern their intent and felt a momentary flicker of concern. Even the mighty Retribution had limitations. Counselor Zethar seemed to sense her apprehension. Your vessel is impressive, Ambassador, but it cannot contend with 29 vessels simultaneously. Perhaps you should consider surrender while your captain is still alive to make that choice. Elena looked at the counselor with pity. You truly do not comprehend humans at all, do you? Chen waited until the enemy ships were precisely where he desired them. The alien formation was ideal for their tactics. but disastrous for what was about to transpire. All drones in position. "Sir," reported Grant. "Awaiting your orders. Execute Plan Custer." The stealth drones activated simultaneously. Energy weapons lanced forth from behind the hegemony formation, striking the alien ship's engines and weapon systems. The aliens had been so engrossed with the retribution that they had neglected to monitor their rear. 6 destroyers immediately lost power, drifting helplessly as their crews attempted to restart damaged engines. 3 cruisers found their main guns offline, sparking and useless. The surprise attack had crippled nearly a third of the enemy fleet before they could react. Enemy vessels taking damage from unknown sources. Admiral Korvac's tactical officer reported, "Sir, I'm detecting weapons fire from our rear quarter, but sensors show nothing there." "Impossible. Scan again." While the aliens struggled to understand the situation, Chen ordered the retribution forward at full attack speed. The massive dreadnought accelerated directly toward the center of the enemy formation, its weapons charging for maximum effect. "Sir, are we genuinely charging straight at them?" asked Lieutenant Park. "The best place to be when outnumbered," Chen replied calmly. "In the middle of their formation, where they cannot all fire at you without striking each other." It was a maneuver that defied every rule of space combat. Ships were meant to maintain distance and engage with long-range weaponry. What Chen was doing should have been suicidal. Instead, it was brilliant. The retribution plunged into the heart of the alien formation like a spear through fabric. Enemy ships scattered in all directions, attempting to avoid collision with the human dreadnought. Their meticulous formation collapsed into chaos as captains prioritized individual survival over collective tactics. Chen exploited their confusion mercilessly. The retribution's weapons fired continuously as it passed through the enemy fleet. Railguns punched through hull armor. Antimatter torpedoes transformed proud warships into expanding clouds of gas. Energy weapons sliced through alien vessels like invisible swords. "Direct hit on enemy flagship," Grant reported. "Their forward shields are down again." "Target their bridge." Admiral Korvac felt his ship shudder as human weapons found their mark. Warning alarms filled the bridge as systems failed one by one. Through the smoke and sparks, he watched the human ship emerge from his formation like a nightmare made real. Half his fleet was gone. The survivors were scattered and disoriented, many of them damaged and unable to fight effectively. The humans had turned his numerical advantage into a liability. "Sir, the human ship is coming around for another pass," his tactical officer reported. Korvac looked at his display and felt something he had never experienced before in battle. Fear. Not fear of death, but fear of complete, utter failure. The humans had made his entire fleet appear amateurish. All ships retreat to maximum range. Reform at jump point 7. But the stealth drones were still active, still hunting. As the alien ships attempted to retreat, invisible predators struck again and again. More vessels lost power or weapons. Some simply exploded as drone attacks found critical systems. Elena watched the battle with growing astonishment. She had known the retribution was powerful, but this was artistry. Captain Chen wasn't merely defeating the enemy fleet. He was obliterating it with style and precision. "How is this possible?" Zathar whispered. "One ship against 30. The mathematics are impossible." "You're thinking like an alien," Elena replied. "Humans don't fight fair. We fight to win." The remaining hegemony ships were in full retreat now, all thoughts of victory abandoned. But Chen wasn't finished with them yet. He opened communications to the entire system, his voice carrying clearly to every alien crew. "Admiral Korvac, this is Captain Chen. You came here to enslave human families. You threatened our colonies and our people. Now you're learning the price of that mistake." The retribution continued its pursuit, picking off stragglers with methodical precision. Each shot was perfectly placed, each attack calculated for maximum effect. The alien crews began to understand that they weren't just being defeated, they were being hunted. "Sir, we could let some of them escape," Grant suggested quietly. "Send a message to the rest of the hegemony." Chen considered this. "No, they came here to destroy us completely." "We will return the favor. No mercy for enslavers." The battle continued for another hour, but the outcome was never in doubt. When the last hegemony ship exploded in a ball of flame, the Kepler-7 system belonged to humanity. Elena returned to the conference room where the 3 alien representatives awaited. They looked very different now. The arrogance was gone, replaced by fear and shock. Gentlemen, she said formally, I believe we were discussing humanity's status in the galaxy. Would you like to reconsider your position? Counselor Zethar's hands trembled as he activated his communicator. Emergency session of the Galactic Council. Priority 1. The humans. The humans are not what we thought they were. Elena smiled. No, Counselor. We're exactly what we've always been. You just weren't paying attention. On the Retribution's bridge, Captain Chen looked at the debris field that had once been a hegemony fleet. His crew was already scanning for survivors, adhering to human military tradition of aiding the defeated. Sir, incoming transmission from Earth Command, Williams reported. Admiral Torres appeared on the screen, and Chen could see the satisfaction in her eyes. Well done, Captain. I trust the negotiations went well. The aliens have agreed to reconsider their position, Chen replied dryly. Excellent. Phase 2 is ready to begin when you are. Chen nodded. The galaxy thought they had witnessed humanity's full strength. They were about to learn how mistaken they were. The true demonstration was just beginning. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened. Within hours of the battle at Kepler, representatives from dozens of species gathered in the Grand Chamber on Nexus Prime, their voices creating a buzz of nervous conversation. News of the hegemony fleet's annihilation had spread rapidly through diplomatic channels. Counselor Zethar stood at the central podium, his blue skin pale with shock. He had witnessed something that challenged everything the galaxy believed it knew about humanity. Esteemed delegates, he began, his voice trembling. We have gravely misjudged the human species. Their military capabilities far surpass our intelligence reports. A single human vessel obliterated an entire hegemony battle fleet. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the chamber. The Volante representative, a tall insectoid being, clicked his mandibles in agitation. Impossible. Humans have been in space for less than a century. They cannot possess such technology. I saw it with my own eyes, Thar replied. Their ship appeared to be a simple transport, but it was, in fact, a weapon beyond our comprehension. We must immediately reassess our approach to human expansion. On the Retribution, Captain Chen received the transmission he had anticipated. Admiral Torres appeared on the main screen, but she was not alone. Behind her, Chen could discern the bridge of another vessel, and his eyes widened slightly. Captain Chen, congratulations on your victory, Torres stated formally. I believe it's time for Phase 2 of our demonstration, Chen nodded. Understood, Admiral. Are the other ships in position? All vessels report ready. You may commence when the moment is right. Elena stood beside Chen on the bridge, having returned from the station after successfully gathering intelligence. She had ascertained the locations of 3 human prison colonies and confirmed that the Galactic Council had been accepting bribes from the hegemony for years. Captain, I'm receiving an urgent communication from the Council, Williams reported. They're requesting immediate negotiations. I'll bet they are, Elena said dryly. Put them through. Counselor Star's image appeared on screen, and Chen could see the desperation in his alien features. Captain Chen, the Galactic Council wishes to initiate immediate diplomatic discussions regarding humanity's status. We may have been hasty in our previous decisions. Chen looked at Elena, who nodded slightly. It was time. Counselor, I appreciate the Council's sudden interest in diplomacy. However, before we begin negotiations, I believe you should witness something. Chen gestured to Williams, who activated a system Elena had never seen before. The main screen shifted to display a tactical overview of the local galactic sector. Dozens of red dots appeared, scattered across multiple star systems. What you're observing, Chen explained calmly, are the positions of humanity's fleet. While you were fixated on our simple transport ship, we've been strategically deploying our true military assets throughout Council space. The dots on the display began to move, revealing themselves as human warships. Elena quickly counted them. 57 vessels, all of them the same size as the Retribution or larger. They had been concealed in asteroid fields, nebulae, and the dark voids between stars. Star's eyes widened in horror. 57 ships? Impossible. Our intelligence indicates humans possess no more than a dozen vessels capable of interstellar travel. Your intelligence was flawed in many respects, Chen replied. We've been building our fleet for 20 years, ever since first contact. We learned early on that the galaxy was not a welcoming place for new species. Admiral Torres's voice came through the communication system. Counselor, this is Admiral Sarah Torres commanding the human fleet. Our ships are currently positioned near every major Council world and hegemony stronghold. We are not here to issue threats, but we wish to clarify our position. Elena stepped forward. Counselor, humanity has 3 demands. First, the immediate release of all human prisoners from hegemony labor camps. Second, full recognition of our colonies and territorial claims. Third, a permanent seat on the Galactic Council with full voting rights. And if we refuse? Zethar asked weakly. Chen's smile was as cold as a Martian winter. Then you will discover that humans are exceptionally adept at problem solving, usually by removing the problem entirely. The tactical display updated again, showing human ships moving into attack positions around key worlds. The message was unmistakable. Humanity was no longer requesting recognition. They were demanding it. On Nexus Prime, the Council chamber erupted in panicked discussions. The hegemony representative, a hulking creature with armored skin, rose angrily. This is blackmail. The Council cannot capitulate to human threats. Can't we? Asked the Alteran delegate, a small furry being known for pragmatism. They just destroyed our strongest military ally with 1 ship. They possess 57 more. I suggest we consider their terms. Elena received a private communication from Captain Chen. Ambassador, we're receiving reports from our stealth ships. Hegemony prison camps on 3 worlds are being liberated as we speak. Our people are free. Elena felt tears well in her eyes. Thousands of humans who had been enslaved for years were finally returning home. It was worth every risk they had taken. The Galactic Council voted swiftly. The alternative to accepting human demands was a war they could not win. Humanity was granted full membership. Their colonies were recognized, and emergency aid was authorized for the freed prisoners. But Chen had one more surprise. Admiral Torres, please proceed with the final demonstration. On screens throughout Council space, Admiral Torres appeared from the bridge of the UES Defiance, humanity's newest and largest warship. Behind her, Elena could see dozens of other human vessels in formation. Citizens of the galaxy, Torres announced. Humanity is officially withdrawing from the Galactic Council's authority. We will form our own alliance with any species that wishes to join us on terms of equality and mutual respect. The shock in the Council chamber was absolute. They had expected humanity to be grateful for acceptance. Instead, humans were rejecting the entire system. Furthermore, Torres continued, any species currently under hegemony oppression is invited to seek protection under the human alliance. We have ships standing by to assist with relocation and defense. Within hours, 6 minor species had requested human protection. The Kari, who had been forced to mine radioactive materials for the hegemony, sent their entire population to human-controlled space. The Zeperians, whose homeworld had been strip-mined, pleaded for passage to human colonies where they could begin anew. Elena watched it all from the Retribution's bridge as they prepared to return to Earth. The galaxy had changed forever in the span of a single day. Humanity was no longer a junior species begging for scraps. They were a power that commanded respect. Captain Chen stood beside her, looking out at the stars. Do you believe we made the right choice? He asked quietly. Elena thought about her daughter back on Earth, about the human families who were now free, about the alien species who would no longer live in fear of the hegemony. We did what we had to do, she replied. We protected our own and aided those who could not help themselves. That's what humans do, Chen nodded. The galaxy wanted to see what humanity was capable of. Now they know. As the Retribution jumped to hyperspace heading home to Earth, Elena composed her report to the President. It would be a concise message. Mission accomplished. Humanity is no longer asking for its place in the galaxy. We're taking it. The age of human expansion had begun in earnest, and the galaxy would never be the same. Behind them, on Kepler 7 station, Counselor Zethar stared out at the debris field where a hegemony fleet had once floated. He was already composing his own report, warning his government that the balance of power in the galaxy had shifted permanently. The humans had expected a diplomatic meeting. The galaxy had expected a simple shuttle carrying frightened negotiators. Instead, they had all learned that humanity's greatest weapon was not their ships or their technology. It was their refusal to accept defeat, their willingness to fight for what they believed in, and their absolute commitment to protecting their own. The galaxy had underestimated humanity for the last time.